Hi and welcome to the Work Stress Intervention Prevention Program. Today we will be discussing the many issues related to work stress. We will be providing you with information on how to identify work stress as an employer or an employee, as well as provide valuable information on the health risks related to the stressor in your life. But more importantly, we will be teaching you on how to cope with work stress.
My goodness, we have so much work to do in such a little time frame.
I know, look at all this work. Our deadline is approaching and we're not even halfway through. I can't even sleep at night thinking about this.
Al gave us just so much work with these HTAs and everything. Like, how are we going to get it done in the next 2 days? What is work stress? The National Institute for Occupational Health and Safety Administration defines work stress as the harmful physical and emotional responses that occur when the requirements of the work do not meet the capabilities, resources, or needs of the worker.
Do you find your job stressful?
Yes, there's stress involved.
Do you find your job stressful?
Some days more than others, I feel stress.
Do you find your job stressful?
In all honesty, I find my job very rewarding. Unfortunately, with nursing, it is very stressful because of staffing. Unfortunately, the hospital is now running as a business and everything is based on budget, and usually the first ones to go are frontline runners. So that directly impacts patient care. We're not able to give quality patient care like we would like to.
There are two protective physiological mechanisms. Alarm reaction. Our first response is a physiological arousal, including increased heart rate and tensing of the muscles. We either fight or flee. Present-day threats are thought to be more psychological. Adaptation. This is the ability to cease responding when we learn stimuli in our environment is not a threat to our safety. Physiological responses decrease. Without this mechanism, we would collapse from mental exhaustion. The primary appraisal and the secondary appraisal determine whether a person has the ability to prevent or reduce stress. Without the proper functioning of these two mechanisms, stress occurs.
What do you find most stressful about your job?
Decision making and high profile things.
Stress?
What do you find stressful about your job?
I guess my biggest stress is making sure the students are learning and grasping what I'm trying to teach them.
What do you find most stressful about your job?
People get angry at me for reasons that I can't help them with.
Work stress is caused by situations that are unpredictable or uncontrollable, uncertain, ambiguous or unfamiliar, or involving conflict, loss, or performance expectations. Time-limited events and ongoing situations involving family life can also cause increased stress at work. Sources of stress. Number 1, intrinsic sources. This includes long hours, work overload, time pressure, difficult or complex tasks, lack of breaks, lack of variety, and poor physical working conditions. Number 2, conflicting roles. This includes unclear work, under-promotion, lack of training, and job security. Number 3, relationships at work. Managers who are critical, demanding, unsupportive, or bullying can increase stress. Number 4, organizational culture. This includes unpaid overtime, uninvolvement of employees in decision-making, Organizational changes including mergers, relocation, restructuring, downsizing, individual contracts, and redundancies. One, long hours worked, work overload, and pressure. Two, the effects of these on personal lives. Three, lack of control over work and lack of participation in decision making. Four, poor social support. And five, unclear management and work role and poor management style.
Work stress symptoms can be classified into 3 different categories: physical, psychosocial, and behavioral. Some of these different symptoms overlap.
Time. why this year's productivity is going down? There are 3 particular job stress models that are predictors of ill health. 1. Job Demand Control Support Model, DCS. 2. Effort Reward Imbalance Model, ERI. And 3. Job Characteristic Inventory Model, JCI. The 2 more commonly used job stress models are the DCS and ERI. The DCS model contains 3 major components: 1. Demands, 2. Control, 3. Social support. When demands are high and control and social support are low, you will be very prone to work stress. Compared to the ERI model, increased stress occurs when there is an imbalance between effort and rewards. If your effort put into your job exceeds the rewards you receive, work stress increases. If you are self-employed and worried if you're prone or unsure if you're experiencing work stress, try the Workplace Stress Assessment Survey. This survey is a quick assessment that can be completed immediately. Post-completion, instant feedback on whether or not you are experiencing work stress will be provided, along with several personalized tips on how you can manage this early detection of stress. As an employer who is worried about the level of work stress his or her employees are experiencing, we recommend the use of the ASSET. The ASSET is a shortened stress evaluation tool that is affordable and encapsulates all the components mentioned previously that are required in order to be effective. The ASSET is broken down into 2 stages, the first stage being a screening process in the form of a questionnaire that is used to identify employees at risk of work stress. The first stage includes 4 parts. The second stage is a more thorough evaluation and only targets problem sectors or at-risk individuals. This will appraise the depth of work stress. The first stage includes 4 parts. Part 1, perceptions of your job. This is measured with 31 items that outline potential causes of work stress and job pressure. Items that are highlighted include work relationships, type of job, overload, control, job security, resources and communication, work-life balance, pay, and benefits. Part 2, attitudes towards your organization. This is measured with 7 items focused on organizational commitment. These highlight commitment of the organization to the employee and commitment of the employee to the organization. Part 3, your health. Employees' health is measured with 17 clinical signs and symptoms, including physical health and psychological well-being. Part 4, supplementary information. This describes demographic and biographic information. It includes current job, you and your family, your lifestyle, your interests. It is important to note that employers can use any type of questionnaire to evaluate the level of risk their employees are at for work stress. However, to be effective, the following must be present. 1. High validity and reliability of psychometric properties. 2. Easy to complete. 3. Elicits high response rates. 4. Uses a combination of hazard stressors with mediating factors. 5. Accurate approximation of contributing factors magnitude to determine the significance towards their employees. 6. Applies to both industry and work level. And lastly, 7. Includes normative values for comparison with the general working population. I understand that you guys are under a lot of stress. What can I do to help?
I think it would be really helpful to redesign the task or redesign the work environment.
Yeah, what would help me a lot is if you established a flexible work schedule.
It would also help if we could build cohesive teams and work better and maybe get some social support.
Yeah.
That's great.
If your employer offered strategies to reduce stress in the workplace, would you participate?
Yes, I would, and yes, they do.
If your employee offered you strategies to identify stress in your workplace, would you participate in them?
Yeah, and they do have some that we can go to some different counseling, but I haven't participated yet.
If your employer offered strategies to reduce stress in the workplace, would you participate?
Yes, I would. A lot of times we are trying to do a healthy workplace. There was a committee formed for that. Basically, nurses tend to support nurses. It's not necessarily a management implication, but it's something that we try and do for ourselves.
Stressful day at work. I can't wait to eat right now. I'm so hungry.
Yeah, I want like a burger with double cheese, some extra fries, maybe a pizza on the side.
I want the same but with extra bacon on it, like 4 times the amount of bacon. And maybe double fries. Actually, make that triple fries.
How do you cope with stress?
Exercise.
How do you cope with stress on a daily basis?
Try and exercise and make time for my family.
How do you cope with stress?
Again, we all tend to pull together. Nurses tend to support each other. We don't get a lot of support from management, unfortunately. And I unwind with a 30-minute drive home, and it's a 24/7 job, so we tend to report off to fellow nurses in hopes that the patient care is quality and we are able to leave it at work.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to go to the gym today. Like, I've had such a stressful day at work.
Me too.
So happy our work provides a place where we can exercise. Oh my god, I feel so energized. I can go on with my day now. It's so nice to come here on my hour lunch break and just be able to work out for the hour. I feel so much less stressed. It's definitely a good way to cope with stress.
So that concludes our video on work stress. We hope you learned a lot and can apply these points to your everyday life. So see you next time and have a stress-free workday.